ball is wet, you're going to have difficulty holding on, and that could have happened there. Plus, it was a hard ball, thrown really hard.
Right corner for Delaware State had some problems last week. He was burned on an 80-yard touchdown. That's Barnes Johnson at the right corner, burned on an 80-yard touchdown, so he's probably keeping that in mind. He's playing up close on the receiver, Taylor, over on the left side. And again, back to pass, straight drop, and now rolling around. We see a holding penalty as the pass is intended for Gregory Baker, but overthrown. Baker was was open, but the pass was over his head. We have a flag, and in that neighborhood, it'd probably be holding. But with a fourth down situation, I would imagine Delaware State will decline the penalty.
And force Bethune Cookman to punt. Delaware State had a pretty decent pass rush on that particular play. They were only rushing 4 men. They blitzed the first time Bethune Cookman tried to pass, and when you can get a good rush with just 4 men and have 7 defenders, that's why the coverage was so well. Thomas had a little bit of time to try to throw it, but he couldn't find anybody open, and that's when the pressure came.
The surprising decision here. Coach Collick, Delaware State Hornets have decided to accept the penalty and move the Wildcats back to about the 36, or they're going to mark it at the
Now he's
35.
indicating decline, I guess. I saw him.
And they bring it back up. So it's going to be fourth down. They marched it off first and brought it back. And so Delaware State will be getting the ball back. Bethune Cookman forced to punt. And then to do the punting for the Wildcats, George Smith standing deep. The deep back, Timmy Edgerton, back at about his own 18-yard line. And the up back is Robert Mathey. Gets a kick away. It's a high, short kick going to come down to Edgerton, out of bounds at about the 22, 23-yard line. That's where the official says it went out of bounds. But you got a lot of good hang time on that kick.
Nice high kick here on this cloudy day here at Delaware State College. Now the Hornets will try to drive downfield. The first time they had a break, only had to drive a little more than 35 yards. Now they'll have to go downfield, see if they can drive the ball on this big Bethune-Cookman defense.
Hornets on top by a score of 7-0. We're in the first quarter, 7:02 left to go in this quarter. Walker comes out at quarterback, and we'll have to wait to see when they break who the backs are. Again, Delaware State uses a very versatile attack using a number of different ball players. Split end out wide right is Edgerton. The split backs are Hoover, and now Hoover moves into the flanker back, and Casey, now Barnes going in motion. They're quick. They move around. And going back to pass. No, the ball going into the middle to Hoover.
Delaware
Good
State,
faking.
a lot of motion on the Delaware State College offense. As you mentioned, they have 4 backs they like to go to, and they use them in various positions at time. Pat Casey's often on the wing. He'll come back into the backfield. It can be kind of confusing, and that's why it's done, to try to confuse the defense, I guess, as well as broadcasters like us.
Yeah. Well, that's easy. Stone coming out, or Stone into the game. Terrence Hoover checking out again at Edgerton, wide right. Casey, the flanker back, single set for single back. Barnes going in motion now, and back to passes. Walker, the ball is tipped and intercepted by Bethune Cookman at the 15-yard line. On the interception for Bethune Cookman was Amos White. He tipped the ball up the air, then dove and brought it down.
Defensive players are taught if you can't get to the quarterback to leap and try to knock the ball down at least, and he got a bonus. He not only hit the ball, but he hit it to himself, caught it, and made a big break for Bethune-Cookman here midway through the first quarter.
Excellent break for the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. They have a first down inside the 15, 14-yard line. First and 10 after the interception by Amos White. Wide left is Juan Washington in the eye. The 2 backs, Kevin Finney. And Finney gets the pitch. Finney trying to go around the right side and slips on the wet turf. Gets down to about the 12 for a gain of 2. Over there to shut off the run was Kevin Bryant, left side linebacker for the Del State Hornets, wearing the number of one of my favorite players, Lawrence Taylor.
That's correct. LeBron Robinson, the left defensive end for Delaware State on that play, did not make the tackle, but was able to contain his block to allow those linebackers, Bryant, to get in there and make that tackle.
They gave him a gain of 1, make it second down 9 from the 13. Pitch back on the option to Finney again, and Finney gets maybe another yard and is pushed back to about the 20-yard line. On the defensive charge was Daniel Paskins.
Number 45 for Delaware State, Eric Wainwright, playing linebacker. A little mad at himself for missing that tackle. He could have possibly hit Finney in the backfield for some minus yardage, but Wainwright did what he was supposed to do on that play, make that penetration, focus on that back. He won't miss that tackle all the time, but his execution was good. He just did not make the tackle, but Bethune did not get much on that play.
That's been a big move for the Delaware State Hornets, was taking Wainwright, who was playing fullback at the start of the year, and moving him to that linebacker position, and he's really shored up that linebacking core. Again, Finney is the trailing back, and going back to passes. Thomas looking left, throwing towards the end zone. The pass is picked off by Johnson. That's Reggie Johnson at the 7 with the interception. If he had kept his feet,
he could have had a long run.
He would have been gone.
That's a pass where Thomas is rolling to his offside. He's a right-handed thrower rolling out toward his left and throwing across field. That ball went across field maybe 30 yards. Reggie Johnson had enough time to adjust and step in front of the intended receiver. That's a risky pass on a dry day because it's being thrown so far across field and on your offhand. Reggie Johnson took advantage of it.
You really have to have a lot of zip on the ball when you try to throw a pass like that. Thomas didn't. Here comes Casey. Casey going off the left side, and he picks up about 3 yards out to the 10-yard line.
That has to be frustrating for Bethune Cookman, too, after getting the big break deep in Delaware State College territory, hoping to at least get a field goal out of it, unable to capitalize as a result of that interception by Reggie Johnson. So Delaware State in pretty good position right now.
Egerton goes wide right. The flanker back is Casey. Stone and Barnes are the backs. And there's a mix-up in the backfield and a loss of about 3 yards from what I could see on my angle here. It looked like the back Barnes, or I think he wanted to give it to Stone, and Stone didn't get the handoff correctly, so a loss of 3 back to the 7, and that'll bring up third down and about 11 for Delaware State. Stone coming out of the game and checking in Terrence Hoover, and the rain starting to come down now heavier. Despite the rain, we have an excellent crowd out here this afternoon. The home field side doesn't look that crowded, or the visitor side, but the home side is crowded. Back to pass, or no, on a draw to Hoover. Hoover with some room to run up across the 20-yard line. Beautifully executed draw by the Del State Hornets.
That's a great play call by Delaware State. You're deep in your own territory. A pass would be risky, and the draw has worked well for Delaware State for a number of years now, and no better man to give it to than Terrence Hoover. Enough for the first down.
And this rain is coming down. Lots of umbrellas up here. It's tough to see. You look in the stands, you see the all umbrellas, and you wonder how people see through them. First and 10 at the 21. Barnes or Stone in the game, coming in motion on a draw again, on a counter draw to Hoover. Or that Barnes on the carry, and Barnes picks up maybe a yard.
By the way, the field here is not in that bad a shape. There's no noticeable wet spots. This field has been taken care of pretty well throughout.